Hey y'all, it's Jade, the everyday actor, and here, why do I keep saying here? Hey y'all, it's Jade, the everyday actor, and I'm here today to share the tea on how to consistently live your life as your authentic self. I really got into this concept of authenticity over the past several years. I was already living it and doing it. One of my students says, Jade was already living intention and manifesting before it was really cool. That's definitely true. And it was just an innate ability of mine to really help artists see the best of themselves and why they wanted to do what they wanted to do. But what I discovered is that the artists that really did the work would level up in every part of their lives, not just their creative lives, their personal lives, their professional lives, their spiritual lives. And then when they walked into any space to do anything, whether it was audition for a role, design a piece, direct or produce, there is a way in which they would always, quote unquote, win or elevate because they were clear about who they were and what made them authentically wonderful, how their authenticity showed up. They were clear about their values, what was important to them. And I realized that work I was doing to just really build their self-esteem influenced and helped them in every other part of their lives. And so for a little while, I, as I said, was doing this instinctively, but really I began to think, this is a way of life. This is what helps. And because I think it's important for any teacher or coach to practice what they preach, I started to apply that to my life because I was doing it in my spiritual and personal life, but not necessarily thinking about it in my creative life. I was living a more innate, instinctual path, which is absolutely awesome. But when you connect intention with instinct and attention, it's a game changer. So I developed a method called LAMOA, Living Authentically Method of Artistry, which allows artists to live as their full authentic self. We create safe spaces through artistic and somatic practices, and people really find their truth within so that no matter where they're going and what they're doing, they are their best selves and not trying to fit into someone else's mold. They break the mold or create new molds for themselves. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's a wonderful experience. I transform consistently getting to work with people through LAMOA, and I'm excited to share the practice with you. Today, I'm loving talking about what it means to be authentic. So many of us have no concept of authenticity because, let's be honest, from the moment we're born, we're fitting into someone else's norms and ideas and values and beliefs about who we should be or what it means to fit into that social environment or that community. And then especially if you're a creative, many of us find ourselves feeling like we're in a liminal space or on the outside and we don't quite fit in. If we're lucky enough to have those who love us and inspire us and allow us to, color outside the lines, which I always refuse to do in art class, or color in the lines. I had these friends who would get great grades. They would outline everything in black and then color it, and it was beautiful. I was like, not me. I used to color how I wanted to. Sometimes I would draw stuff on the outside of the picture. I would draw what I wanted to see. We should have known at that moment that that was the beginning of me being a very creative individual and authentic spirit. But yeah, so we find ourselves being the people who are outside the lines. And if we're blessed enough to have community and those around us who let us play what seems like weird or misunderstood ways, then soon we become the artists that people follow, the celebrities later on, or the inspirers and leaders, because we model things that people may have not necessarily had the courage or the ability to take the risk to try. We inspire others through our difference. So it's really important for us to create space for all of us to be our authentic selves, because we were made and created to be individually who we are. I think many people that I work with struggle with what is authenticity? How do I find my authenticity? And I found that one of the best ways to figure it out is to apply the really popular concept of given circumstances that we use in theatrical arts to your everyday life. Who are you? What are you doing? You can't see all of it on this shirt. When are you doing and where? Those things, those questions help you begin to find out. Everybody knows my most popular phrase, what you want. What do you want? What do you want? So start with your own personal given circumstances. Look at who you are. Look at what you're doing right now. Does it please you? When are you doing it? What time of day? Where are you in your life when you're doing it? Are you your 20s or you're a teenager, older? Where are you doing it and in what spaces? How are you creating? Begin to ask a lot of questions about yourself. And the real key, the most important thing is to ask them in a form of inquiry and exploration, not to criticize or, in condescension. And when you answer those questions honestly and lovingly with acceptance, you'll begin to see who you are, what you want, what value, what's important, what values you have. Go ahead and ask those questions of yourself. What makes me tick? What makes me happy? What makes me joyful? What frustrates me and why? What are some things that I've thought about recently that really moved me and made my spirit lift? Those are the ways we begin to find out who we are authentically. And then the next thing to do is to find out if that thing, what influenced that particular feeling? What influenced the idea that came to you? Is this something that seem to just drop into your spirit out of nowhere? Is this something that comes to you based on the training that you've had or the skills that you achieved? Or is this an idea or a feeling that's been with you, quote unquote, forever? Or it comes from some familial or social connection? As we begin to question and explore our inner workings, we really begin to find out what makes us tick tock. It's such a cool thing in our lives to do. I want to say that our authenticity is ever evolving. We are ever evolving in our elevation, and that's so important when we're living authentically, to know that we're constantly in process, we're constantly shifting and changing, and our best selves change every day. Our most authentic selves change every day. When you begin to ask those exploratory questions and begin to dig into who am I and what moves me and why do I feel this way in this situation, and when I create, what inspires my creation and what motivates me to create what I create, that's going to immediately change your expression of self in the world, because you have begun to be intentional and pay attention to yourself personally. That personal attention from yourself is going to lift you into a different stratosphere completely. You're going to require different things of yourself in the world. Allow that to happen. We're all artists. We're all actors. To act means to do. We're all doing something. When our action is about being invested in ourselves, we're going to begin to do things differently, baby. You're not going to be able to live that other life for other people. You're going to start living for yourself, and it's going to feel so good. Will there be some discomfort? Yes, absolutely. Because your old self is really, really pleased with the old way in which you used to live. And when you do something different, it's going to feel strange. It's going to feel unfamiliar. It's going to feel weird. And your body and self and your community might make you feel like it's wrong, but it's not. It's just an adjustment for everybody. But your spirit will feel so good, and that discomfort will be momentary. So allow it to happen. Take a sip of tea and enjoy the journey. I'm excited to be on it with you. You can find me at The Everyday Actor on Instagram, and I cannot wait to hear about how you're living your authentic life. Follow me, like this, and share it with your friends, and I hope to see you next time.